I wanted to talk about some of the information, some of the facts that have come out since the initial reports from the Pulse nightclub in Orlando, Florida. It's come out that the Fort Pierce Islamic Center in Orlando, Florida, it's on video. The Islamic leader there, the Imam, is on video saying that gay people need to be killed, that the sentence for being gay for homosexuals is death. And he said that we need to have compassion, but we need to get this done. It's also being reported from a recently retired Department of Homeland Security employee who came out saying that as early as 2011, the Fort Pierce Islamic Center was under investigation by the FBI, the Department of Homeland Security, and that the Clinton administration, the Clinton State Department, called off the investigation, saying that it was profiling Islamic people as terrorists, as dangerous, and that was wrong. And now we've seen an attack that has surpassed any mass shooting in American history. Like I said, 49 people are dead now. And it was a victim disarmament zone. It was an area where nobody had the ability to defend themselves. And instead of identifying Islam as a violent religion or a violent group of people, they're saying that Americans need to give up our Second Amendment, that we need to give up our ability to defend ourselves from these people who have declared their hatred for the West, who have said that we're infidels, said that they're going to kill more gay people. Homosexuals are being killed in 11 different Islamic nations. Paul Joseph Watson recently filed a video where he talked about the truth behind the Pulse nightclub shooting, and that it's not a problem with guns, it's not a problem with even radical Islam, it's a problem with Islam, in that it's incompatible with Western culture. That, like I said, in over 11 different Islamic nations, homosexuals are sentenced to death. In a lot of cases, thrown out of the windows of buildings, thrown off the rooftops, and they're not going to stop if we give up our ability to defend ourselves. Hillary Clinton said, when asked if there was any law that would have prevented this from happening, she said that, well, Orlando in Florida, there's no registration for firearms. There's no background checks for transferring between two different parties that are not federally registered. So over and over again, the answer that Hillary Clinton provides is take away Americans' right to bear arms, take away Americans' ability to defend ourselves. Meanwhile, she's being protected by armed security guards. So how about you give up your armed security guards, Hillary Clinton, and we'll just keep our Second Amendment? What do you think about that? Another aspect of this whole thing is that Omar Mateen, a radicalized Islamic declared member of ISIS, he called 911 while he was inside the Pulse nightclub and declared allegiance to ISIS, and yet we're not able to connect the dots. It just seems ridiculous. So because one person decides to kill 49 people who had no way to defend themselves, everyone's got to pay. Everyone's got to give up their ability to defend themselves. It just doesn't make any sense. And like I said yesterday, our enemies are celebrating, they're laughing, because America's own leaders, their mission is to make us weak. Their mission is to open the doors and allow this Trojan horse into our country and allow our rights, our freedoms to be diminished so that they can meld America into some kind of global agreement that's not voted on, not elected on, and doesn't answer to the American people. Obama's not loyal to the American people, and that's why he refuses to identify our enemy. That's why over and over again he's blocked investigations into known terrorist groups within our country. And this is just the beginning. Omar Mateen was a member of G4H. He was a licensed to carry the firearms he had. He was an American citizen, first generation descendant, Afghan father, and his father has basically declared that this was all just because Omar was homophobic and doesn't want us to look any deeper into his connections with Islamic State. But it's clear right now that they're tied in with the Hillary Clinton State Department and their policy of bringing Islamic radicals into the country. Omar Mateen's family was part of an organization that was helping Islamic people into the country, giving them federal money and just helping funnel these radicals into our country and helping them set up with imams and different groups. And like I said, Fort Pierce Islamic Center in Orlando, Florida, the imam there said that gay people need to be executed, that the punishment for being a homosexual is death. And Fort Pierce Islamic Center is still open. So I would ask the American people, what do you think about that? If a Christian church called for the killing of people because they're gay, would you believe that that church should still be able to operate? Should they still be able to indoctrinate people and tell them that the punishment for being gay is death? And do you think that that kind of preaching, that kind of radicalization could influence somebody like Omar Mateen? And why did the FBI, why did the Department of Homeland Security call off their investigations on Omar Mateen? He was under investigation going back as far as 2013. What's America going to do to prevent these kind of things from happening again?
Things like that, but typically you get to have a permit in order to...
So you're saying that we have to have a permit to film on Capitol grounds, is that correct, sir?
That's correct.
Where's that? Is there a law against filming on the state Capitol grounds?
You'll have to contact our management if you have any questions on that. But
All right, this isn't the first time that I've come out here to film. There's been protests, and I've never been confronted. I just wasn't aware of that. So, but are you guys saying that if I came out again to film without a permit, would they ask you to arrest me? Is that correct?
That's not what I'm saying.
It's like a warning.
Or anything like that. So.
All right. Well, I just for my own protection and just for the people to know that, you know, that's what the policy that apparently they're putting out. When you say that we can't film, I was under the impression that this was public property, and that you didn't need a permit to film on public property.
Filming, they require a permit. Photos, you can take photos. That's the way our...
Really?
Yep.
But there's no law. There's no law against it. It's just they're just.
There is a law. I mean, this is state property right here. So.
Right, owned by
right here on
people.
Capitol grounds. Yeah.
So I mean.
There are different laws that apply here as they don't apply in other.
Okay. I mean, I'm just going to continue on with my filming. If you guys feel the need to like arrest me or something, or if you're saying that I have to leave, then I might change my thing. But I was just gonna, like I said, I was just going to film the flag and then the American flag, and then I was going to head out. So.